So this past weekend on the Spawncast, we had been talking about the July event for the Xbox Series X. Microsoft, of course, said, hey, in July, we'll be showing off a lot of games from our first-party studios, things you can look forward to going into next generation, and that's exciting stuff because the last event they had was pretty mediocre at best, I would say. It was definitely a letdown for a lot of us. They said gameplay, and then we saw a whole, 3 minutes of gameplay out of the whole thing, right? A lot of them looked current gen even. So I'm excited to see what Microsoft can do if their first party studios really work towards next generation. That's what we expect to see at the end of July. But I, of course, made a joking prediction, we'll say, that the event would take place on the 23rd. And turns out I might have guessed right, because there are a lot of reports now coming out, even one from VGC, that is saying the 23rd specifically for this event. So, get the Nintendo Direct Mini date right, get this Xbox July event date right. I'm just guessing right all over the place. A lot of luck over here, right? But on top of that, we have some more information, some rumors around this event, and one that did get me thinking, and I'm pretty excited to finally see what Microsoft's brand new studio that they have built and hired up a bunch of talent for can produce, because the rumors around what they are working on is at least exciting to see, but there's also the possibility that we get swerved and it's something else, or it could even be a letdown. So that's what we're going to go over here, some of the rumors around this now July 23rd event. And we have some information from VGC and a little bit from Jeff Grubb. Now, Jeff Grubb went ahead and updated his Summer Games mess that kind of coincides with that, the week of the 20th. So if you're trying to figure out a good time to look into, try to plan out to make sure you can see this event and be ready, there you go, the week of the 20th. I'm going to stick with my 23rd prediction, though. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like it on the way out and subscribe down below if you're brand new, especially if you're looking forward to a lot of the next gen information, like for the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. It's exciting stuff here going forward, guys. I think we're going to see some pretty big games and some very impressive technology with this. So let's go over here to VGC, Video Games Chronicle, and I'll link down below to this article if you'd like to read through as well. And we can go down here and it says that the July event will focus primarily on Series X games coming from Xbox Game Studios, but it will also confirm additional titles coming from third-party publishers, people with knowledge of Microsoft plans said. Now, third-party becomes interesting because it's kind of hard to, I would say, guess at some of these third parties. I was hoping Tales of Arise would be there, but they delayed it kind of, at least recently. I mean, they could still showcase something there. That would be pretty neat to see that. But we do know Microsoft's already shown several third-party games here. You could see maybe Ubisoft or someone there, or maybe we get a bit more of Microsoft working with Japanese developers and publishers, as they've kind of done recently, right? Like Yakuza Like a Dragon, that debuted for the West on Microsoft's event. That's weird, isn't it? Isn't that strange? Because you'd figure that'd be with Sony. Phantasy Online 2 exists in the West right now because of Microsoft. It's strange, isn't it? So I don't count them out for any of that, and I like that. I like to see Microsoft kind of go out there and work to get some third-party support from Japanese developers and publishers. I think it's just great for everyone, for us gamers, so good to see that. Now, they do say, notably, Xbox will premiere the first Halo Infinite gameplay during the event, with the 343 shooter set to launch alongside Xbox Series X during the 2020 holiday season. This is something most of us expect. We expect to be able to go to the store, buy our Series X, or even Lockhart Series S. We'll see about that. But we definitely expect at this time to go there, buy Halo Infinite, buy the Series X, and head home with that and start playing right away. And you know what? That's not a bad way to kick off the event. Now, they can't necessarily date Halo Infinite right away if they're not ready to date, actually put a date on it, the Series X, right? Because we expect them to come out the same day. I think it would be a good way to just showcase the overall visuals of the system, because they say it is designed specifically for the Series X. But if they show up right away, set the tone for this one versus what they did in May, where very little gameplay was shown. If you start this event with 10 minutes full on of them playing through a level in Halo Infinite, it looks good. That's a great way to get things rolling here with the event. The really important parts of events, usually the beginning and then the end. You want to end it with something really, really cool. And that's where we come to this part. New Xbox studio The Initiative, the company formed in 2018 by veteran Tomb Raider, God of War, and Uncharted creatives, will also unveil its first game during the July event. Those are sources who've told VGC. Now, this should be a pretty big reveal for Microsoft. Okay, this studio, they of course created, from the ground up, they've hired a lot of talent to come in to work at this studio on some new game. Now, this has been hinted at as being an older IP. It's even been hinted at before as it being a brand new IP. That's the biggest part here. And from some of the job listings and different descriptions for those jobs and contracts that we've seen, it does appear to be leaning into something that would be in the spy thriller territory, which would be Perfect Dark, technically. Like, at least it lines up with it. A lot of people have been rumoring this whole thing as being Perfect Dark, and the Initiative is doing a reboot of it. And I do wonder if Perfect Dark, as I've said before, in 2020 would be like this big hype thing. I would be very, very excited for it, okay? Especially if they have a good level of talent around it and they put the time, effort into it, and it comes out as this really high quality product. I would be really excited for that. I wonder what they'd call it, if it would just be called Perfect Dark, or if they would just call it Joanna Dark, or how they would go about that one. But if the Initiative can show up here and show off a game that it looks high quality, right, and people get really excited, it would be great for Microsoft, because as of now, especially during the Xbox One era, they've had a hard time putting out critically acclaimed games that isn't a Forza, right? Forza, for the most part, it comes out, everyone's like, yeah, this is a good racing game. They have that down pat, right? But you get a little outside of that, and even like Halo 5 was like, I was kind of iffy on that one, right? Gears has been good still, right? But it hasn't been like that game that comes out of Metacritic and it's like 94, right? And you're like, okay, this is the game of the generation, right? Sony has had several of those this generation. Microsoft struggled on that front. So if the Initiative can show up here and set the tone for the generation, that's the biggest thing here, set the tone to start with, that would be a big deal for them, because that's a studio that they created, not necessarily bought, that was already formed, or even contracted a game out to. That is how Microsoft really shows that they're serious about this generation. Now, I'll admit, I was wondering if it would be better for them to take Perfect Dark, or if it would be better for them to just make a brand new IP, one that they have complete creative control over, whereas Perfect Dark, of course, already has an established character and like a world and all of this. Would it be better for them to do a brand new IP? I mean, that's a good question. I think people will be split on that, because there will be people who really want to see Perfect Dark, right, actually rebooted with some quality and attention to detail. But there might also be some people who say, hey, you know what? Microsoft should just make a new IP to show that they can do it. So I think you can go either way with it, but I will stick with the rumor right now that it's Perfect Dark, or I don't know, maybe, you know what? Maybe it's Blinks. There we go. Blinks is coming back. The Initiative is taking care. Could you imagine all of the rumors around Perfect Dark, and we're hearing about a Fable game coming from Playground Games, and then nope, they're doing Blinks, the Time Sweeper. Anyway, I'm getting pretty excited for this Xbox event at the end of July. The 23rd seems to be the day, so I guess look forward to that. But let me know about the Initiative. What do you think they have to do here? Is it Perfect Dark? Do they have to do a full reboot on it? Or do you think they should do a new IP? And is it paramount for them to impress right out of the gate here going into next generation, especially how this previous one went for Microsoft, because it started out very poorly, right? Don Matrick launching this thing, and they're like, oh, buy an Xbox 360 if you don't have internet, all this stuff, right? Or do you think as long as the Initiative has a good looking game, one that looks good enough, and then you have Fable, and just the overall quantity of games would make up for a game that the Initiative show that's not like super high quality? Let me know, guys, down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.